Hello everyone, Dylan here with another LEGO Star Wars Summer 2025 review, and this one's on Jango Fett Starship, or as we usually call Slave 1, that has now been released. So on the front of the box here you have the LEGO Star Wars logos and similar looking border as we've had since 2022, but weird thing is, this had the Clone Wars styling of it when this should be the dark blue and Darth Vader one of it, depicting from the film saga. Which some confuse this as with Clone Wars, but whatever. They have all the three minifigs included, and picture of the set in action flying through the asteroid above Geonosis, and recommended ages is 9 and up. Set number 75433 has 770, or just 707 pieces. So then onto the back side of the box, picture of the set on a landing platform on Camino, and also both the logos again and all the features of it. And maybe this different color border was to help lighten up these parts of it a bit better, but I'm not sure about that, but whatever. The logos again, and there. And now onto the manual, of which odd rendering that has been going on for quite some time. And then also the transition from plastic bags to paper bags, ad for the builder app, and then how to win on the online survey, and then advertisement of all the other summer 2025 sets, and then all the pieces that come with the set, of course, and then the last building steps of it. So now on to the minifigs included. And this is that. This first to which is Jango Fett, who we haven't seen in sets since like 2017 with Obi-Wan Starfire Hyperdrive Ring 1 from then. But also the torso print leg printing, and also little toe printing, also like we saw in the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1 early in the year, but also, unlike with that one, not at any side arm printing for that. So obviously fitting to the price point. And then also you have this all-new rangefinder piece, which also introduced in that set, as well as in the 327th Clone Battle Pack. For that, and of course can like tilt forward as well, like that. And also the face printing, also just about like the in-movie appearance of it and the UCS version. And also do have this little hairpiece to include as well. And also wielding these two gas pump kind of pieces there to his specific pistols, like we've had since 2013. And then on to the center one being young Boba Fett, which is a little different than the previous versions of him, but also the same as in the recent UCS Slave 1 set. With the hairpiece of him, which is the same as Cole's from Ninjago's and a couple others, but also kind of fitting to him. And however, the torso printing, as everyone's been saying, the torso printing, the wrinkles, a little inaccurate to the movie, but at least this maybe they did this just to differentiate him from the previous minifigs of him. I'm not sure about that, but whatever. And then lastly, the main highlight is the Kaminoan Llama Su, which obviously the torso printing quite good prize, and the gown piece of which also nice printing as well for that. And then the headpiece sculpted to just perfection and done very well for how it is. Although looking just about kind of like that of Tan Wee, one from the 2022 Obi-Wan Starfighter, but at least of which a little different than that one, which does have the crest kind of part to it, and also the collar part of the outfit. So at least good to have some diversity there. And then backsides of which some slight back torso printing for young Boba Fett, but also a good amount for Taun We here. And also both of which do have some good double-sided faces as well. And that is it with the minifigs of the set. And now onto this little maintenance cart for that. So obviously this going kind of like the 2021 Boba Fett Slave one, but actually this one a little different, depicting that of Episode 2. Yeah. So like this front part of which just a few jagged slopes around it and a couple levers for standing a minifig onto there, and also then on both sides switch some small cheese slopes around, and then also on the bottom side are these rounded curve or rounded slope like pieces, so you can like hover it around on a surface well. And then on the center part of it is this little crate that there is, but nothing inside it. Although you could add in a thermal detonator if you wanted, but yeah. And also just a few curved slopes around it and grilled pieces around it. And on the back part of it is this, are some like wedge plates around it, and also this little texture to it, just like kind of like we saw on the wings of the V19 Torrent, also in this current wave for that, but just in light and dark gray for that. And if notice, a couple plates sticking out to it, but that which is for something with the Slave One itself, which I'll show later, and also one cheese slope kind of in a different direction for that. So also like the last Slave One set, but yeah. And that's about it with this little build here. And now on to Jango Fett Slave 1 itself, which obviously from first glance looking kind of close to that of the 2021 Jango Fett or Boba Fett's one for that, but also colored a little differently, also fitting to that of Jango Fett's one. And obviously, and also quite good upgrade from the like original 2002 version of it, but yeah. So like as for this like upper section part of it, which pretty much just a whole bunch of curved plates or wedge plates and also curved slopes around it, and then also into this part that has a few stud shooters on the side parts of it, which unlike the last few versions of the Slave One, they were like right in the upper part of it, so at least. And of course, the ones that were shown below were just for show, but these kind of just as an actual feature, which almost as much fair, but yeah. And then bottom part of it are these like vent kind of pieces there, and then so now onto this lower part of it, which kind of heavy of all just like jagged slopes and curved slopes in like dark blue and sand green and a little yellow onto there, and then also do have a little center part that is in gray, which you can lift up, and unlike the other ones where you can just put Han carbonite into, but on this one it's actually just to store the little bomb feature for it, which I'll show later or show in a bit. And then as for these like wing parts of it, almost like previous Slave ones, but also do have sort of those like odd wedge plate or curved slopes around there, and then also do have some like turning kind of bits to it. And do that. And then these upper part of it, also like other slave ones, but just with a Technic axle, a rod piece, and a few bits around it, and then grill piece around, and then also these like smallish curved slopes around it, but in dark green for that. And then onto the upper top part of this slave one, which still just jagged slopes around, but all with stickers. But there's very few stickers in this set then. And then let me turn this right up, and also do have a lot of curved slopes going right upwards, and also a single piece one with a sticker around it, and then also do have this little canopy cockpit kind of part, which would be the same cockpit piece like some recent slave ones, but oh whoops, this one kind of popped off easily, or kind of pops off, but oh whoops. Okay then, and also do have quite a bit, and also it's kind of spacious enough to fit both Jango and Boba Fett into there, which I'll do right now. And there's kind of sitting together, but just right behind each other and closes up like so. But unlike how in the movie they're just sitting side by side, but obviously for the design and the price point, just had to do so. So obviously it fair enough execution, but yeah. Then as for the like taking off kind of feat process of it, also like recent like most slave ones, that's picking it upwards, and then the wings are the tilt right backwards. But on this one, both of which can do so at once. And unlike on earlier slave ones, it kind of mounts with the cockpit part to it, but at least don't have to deal with that kind of hassle, which good. And onto the backside, which, as some say, that the like boost engine parts, which make it look like it's a face in there, which I kind of agree. And then also you have this Technic that can like fold outwards and works as a handle of it. Also like the original, almost like the 2021 version of it as well. And also the 2019 version as well. Also then. And then if notice that part from earlier, which can make those drop right out. So these like little bomb features or bomb kind of parts, which are comprised of a couple trans yellow studs, a flat one and a regular one, and a minifig headpiece. Perfect homage to the original 2002 version. So like put those in there, and then all those kind of hard to get them centered in. And also, and if you like just push that part of it, and then the trap door feature would open right up and they drop out. Also, well fitting to the in-movie appearance, and yeah. And then if you notice the like wedge plate and this other tile piece on there, well, that which is for the display cart stand from earlier. Like this, and this part you tilt right up for that, mounted in there, and then get it around that stud area, and there, got standing up quite well for that. So let me get the figs out, of course. Hang on. Okay. And now for comparisons. with this and the last slave one we had from 2021 with the Mandalorian. And of course that did also have this little sort of a cart for that switch, but just did have a little less pieces on it, and of course stands it up quite as much as good. And as the design switch, very similar to each other, but with a few slight modifications and recolors to that. Like this one, pretty much just a few of the largish slope pieces, but this whole bunch of smaller slope pieces on the spine part, and also the wing parts, obviously a little different there. The top parts, which is a little similar to each other, but just with a few different designs of different slope pieces, of course. And the blasters at the bottom, which are just for show, like most versions did, and this one actual stud launchers instead of being on the top part of it. So at least kind of a good change of pace of not being repetitive. Then on the back side of them, and designs are a little similar to each other, but just with different kind of pieces, like curved, like rounded studs, and this which just plates there. Yeah, and then, and of course, same handle or swoosh handle onto there. But yeah. So, and of course, still having the bomb dropping feature, which to obviously not be so repetitive. But yeah, and that is it with that comparison. And now on to another kind of comparison, which without the display cart for it, and that is with this original 2002 version of Jango Fett Slave 1. Well, first of which does have a little different, quite different sizing to it, and also different, and of course they had different price points of it, like which was about 40-50 back in 2002, but this one about 70 for this year, 2025. And of course, a lot bigger since had a lot more just bricks stacked on bricks in different pieces. That was often a common thing at the time, and also the bomb dropping feature, which made with traditional minifig heads, which the new version also does have. But yeah, and the wings, which also quite different, like with those like Bonicle Pohatu foot pieces, and then this one doesn't have those at all. Well, since those pieces are defunct at this time. And also, this version did have a couple more things inside to that to access inside, but this version doesn't have that at all. Maybe one good guess is since it was out for 2002's or in 2002 for episode 2's release, then they probably weren't aware of that feature at the time. Also, neither with this lower part of it, which is for the additional blasters that there are. And the front part of which also kind of the same as well. And the bottom part of which with the old style trans orange for that, and this with trans yellow. So obviously trans yellow, good improvement over that. And let me get this standed up again. So now for my overall verdict, I think this was a great set, just a great set for that. So obviously, a few good improvements over the previous Slave ones, but also finally great to have Jango Fett's one for the first time since 2002. Well, and of course, almost as good as the 2021 Slave one, but just with an extra minifig and a few different design bits to it. And then obviously some of the features just about almost like the original 2002 one, but I say almost as good, but yeah. And also, as for Llama Su here, great to have. Although it would have been nice if Ton Wheat was also included. Well, maybe that would have bumped the price up a bit more, but all you could have, all the, even though some of you probably already have the 2022 Obi-Wan Starfighter, which includes her, but, and of course this almost is fair, just about fair for that. But, and also, and for this set as a parts pack, I say quite good amount for that. Like good amount of dark blue, sand green, and little yellow and white for that. Which, and of course, have plenty of that, and also a bit of dark green as well to like add to your mocking if you wanted. And then as for the like bomb parts of which good homage to the original 2002 one, which glad to see that feature still around, and also like the large UCS Jango Fett Slave one as well. And although for the Jango Fett and Boba Fett minifigs of which maybe about less as great as the figs in that set and previous sets, but at least they which are kind of fair for that, even though, but of course for the price point that's probably the best to include for this one, but yeah. And then as for the like $70 that it is, obviously $20 more than the than the 2021 Slave one, which but at least almost, but of course have a few more, a little bit more going on for it. But yeah, and of course this I say this one just about as fair, or just quite good for that price. But yeah. And so now, if any of you are looking to get this set for your Star Wars and Episode 2 collection, then definitely pick this set up. And if you are looking to get this set for Lama Su, and also if you completely missed out on the original 2002 Jango Fett Slave one, and don't want to bother getting the large UCS version, then definitely pick this set up. Yeah. And that's about it with this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.